and our history. Coming to you live and direct every Saturday. Or you can catch us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Deezer, iTunes, or wherever you download your podcast at. You can also come back to Spreaker.com, look for Bill for this network, and you'll be in tune. Now let's go. Good afternoon, everybody. It's your man HRap coming at you live and direct. As usual, I have a special guest. One of my favorite MCs, part of one of my favorite crews. Y'all know I'm a hip-hop junkie forever. And I'm just going to cut through the mustard, man. This is one of my favorite MCs. He's here on with me right now. His name is Tech. He's from a group called Smiff N Wessun. They had to change their name due to legal issues. The Coco Brothers, part of the Boot Camp Clique. Thank you for joining the show. It's a pleasure to have you on. What's happening, Tech?
Shalom, good people. What's happening with you, man? I'm just blessed to be here. What's happening?
Man, it's all good, man. It's a pleasure to have you on. I do this show every week, and what I do is highlight people from our community, our successes, our history, and I like to let my listeners and my supporters hear stories from us, about us. So, basically, you could potentially add some elevation to someone else's life just by tuning in and listening to your stories, and they'll realize that, hey, they're not the only person going through something, or use your story as an inspirational tale, so to speak.
That's 1,000% true, man. I mean, that's why we're here. I'm just Allah's vessel, man. Just to be used the right way for where He see fit. Pass the word and the knowledge on to those older, younger, wherever they see fit at it. Knowledge is infinite. As long as you keep giving it and receiving it the correct way, we're going to be straight.
I totally agree with that. Thank you. But again, thank you for being on, man. It's a pleasure again. As I stated earlier, you are one of my favorite. Your crew is one of my favorite crews. I like the sound. I like everything. But let's just start from the beginning. You're from Bronzeville, Brooklyn. How was it growing up there, man? Tell us about Bronzeville and how it affected you and molded you into the person you are today.
I can tell you about the Ville, but I'm actually from Bed-Stuy.
Oh, my bad.
So Gucci, I'm from Bed-Stuy, but my family and people still and everybody is from Brownsville.
Oh, okay.
Brownsville never will, and shit is Ville and Phil all over the place.
Okay.
I mean, we come from the curb where pissy elevators, shit on the sidewalk, shit in the corners of the elevators. We play in the hallway doing what we got to do, playing the blocks what we got to do, but we still got our head in the books. We still try to educate ourselves, not really knowing further down the line we're going to need it, but knowing that we are going to need it. We got our uncles and brothers that was locked up doing 30 years that we ain't seen since we was little kids running around the neighborhood of the house. So it was time. We was the ones who had to come back to the block and take the reins over for the little homies that was coming up after us and show them, it is possible to get on video music box. It is possible to get on the Bobby Simmons show. It is possible to have you join on Soul Train rocking and you join on the radio while you in the trap, while you doing what you gotta do, or just fucking with these little schizos we used to call them.
Right.
And just try to elevate each other, sharpen each other.
Man, you know what? It's a lot like that. I'm from Chicago. Like people from outside of Chicago call it the Good Times Project, but that's the project I'm from.
Yeah.
So, so I definitely understand.
That was one of my favorite shows coming out, too.
Oh, yeah, man. Hey, man, if you from our community or anywhere, if you had a TV in your house, everybody was checking out JJ, Thalma, the whole nine. So, yep, I can definitely identify with that. The dangers of growing up in the hood and the ignorance of not even realizing that you were in danger. So
exactly. You. It's so many ways you put yourself in danger, not knowing a nigga do some snake shit, and you thinking he's so loyal, 100 with you, and the next day you know that's the nigga that's fucking stabbing you in the back or fucking your girl or while she your girl, and it goes all types of ways, man.
Right.
But even just meeting a good guy, he used to live in my hood. We used to pass my hood over in Clinton Hills. We used to see Anthem. Wow. We used to see all of them out there coming through Brooklyn, and we just used to be, we done came up a little bit age, so it was like, oh shit, you know, and they would stop and chop it up with us on the block for a little bit before they carry on about their business. But it was just, it was still, you know, it was still paying respect and homage to what we was looking up to.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Now, let's move forward. You a couple years behind me in regards to age. Hip hop is started, you know, how old were you when you got the hip hop bug? Let's start there.
Shit, truthfully, we was still just getting into high school, man.
Okay.
About 15, 16, running around doing talent shows. Before let me clear it up. You can't say get into the hip hop because my mom and my dad, my family is heavy music influence. My mom was a minister in the church. My dad played for a few well-known bands back in the days. Played the bass. He played the sax. He played the drums. He played the keys. Like my dad was a musical genius for real.
Oh, that's dope.
So I was blessed enough to have some from both sides. I had to know the Most High, and I was getting served some street knowledge from my dad. So I would say, well, by the time I really started recognizing hip hop, I was in high school listening, running home listening. I ain't even running home. I was in the crib already listening to Stretch Armstrong and Bobito with the Paul's mixtapes. And once I started hearing Slick Rick, the Rulers back and shit like that, and HRap, it was next level for me. It was something that I felt that I needed to be a part of.
One of the things,
we go from beating on the tables in the lunchroom and beatboxing in the back of the lunchroom to being on the second floor hallway of school and having a big ass cipher in there. So we was off the porch pretty early.
Oh, that's what's up, man. I remember those days. Like I said, I'm a couple years in front of you. I think I'm about 3 years in front of you. So I remember being a sophomore in high school, taking that Slick Rick tape home and memorizing it and coming back to school. I'm like, I got this. So
we was putting tapes, the holes of the cassettes. So even though you fell asleep, that shit to click over and keep recording on both sides of the tape.
Right.
So you ain't missed nothing, but you ain't know what was up there until you popped it into the Walkman on that train ride to the school or wherever you was going. Exactly.
It was electrifying. I definitely remember that. And you know what? I'm gonna take a step back. Your dad was a musician, and you and your other partner from Smiff N Wessun, you both have Jamaican roots. Am I correct?
My PNC still. I mean, my family comes from the South. My dad comes from Bmore, and my mom comes from Virginia, Virginia, and Richmond, all through the Seven Cities, Portsmouth out there. From what I was told and the knowledge that I did, we have Indian in our family, and yes, still has. That is my PNC. Still, my brother, he does have some Jamaican roots in his family. Yeah. So it's just Brooklyn. Once you in Brooklyn, you in the melting pot anyway, bro.
Yes, indeed. You know, and it's funny, like when I see you guys, I hear your music, and I see New York guys. Period. It's totally foreign to me because Chicago might be the most segregated city outside of the South in the United States of America. You looking at, and I'm talking about not. Like when I went to school, it was black kids in the school. It wasn't black kids from other countries. It was black Americans. So when I hear that, that's one of the things that kind of attracted me to you guys because I heard the Jamaican and from the music attracted me to you. And then hip hop itself, when you see guys in New York, and it's so like you said, it's such a melting pot that you get a little bit of everything. So you get drawn in. So talk to me about your pops' influence in regards to the music as well as the streets.
Well, my pops was so down low and so low key with it. Like we had stories of how he used to play with Mr. James Brown, a couple of other groups that he was running around. He wasn't one of the main players that was in the band. One of the band players, like he was filling certain slots where one of them couldn't show up. He'll get on the drums or he'll play the bass or the horn. And right now, my pops just turned 92 in January. So. Yeah, my pops is the strongest man that I know to this day, man. It's crazy because when we was first started, we brought some equipment. My pops was the one who wired it up in the basement, put the studio in there so we could go in there and learn how to cut the demos. But we were still so into the street stuff. The music was secondary to us, but we had to really learn how to get into that and let that be the focus, the focal point of what we was doing out here, wanting to find ourselves and get that shit going. So it took a minute before we really strapped on our boots and pulled up our boots, and we was already Timbs and hoodied up and moving in the shadows of the night. But it took a minute before we was really finding our path. We was blessed to have our big brothers, Black Moon. We would go to their studio sessions, sleep on the floor underneath the thick ass blankets that used to cover grand pianos in Calliope studio in there. That's why you hear us so heavily on the Into the Stage album. And then once it was our turn, man, we had already learned from who we considered the best, because that's what we know. And we was ears pinned back like a pit bull, ready to get to it.
Man, that's dope. And to your pops, happy birthday, peace and blessings, continued blessings to him.
Yeah, thanks.
What's dope about that is you don't hear a lot of people in hip hop or our community talk about the influence that their pops had directly on them. So that's a blessing in itself. And that kind of knowledge bleeds through in your music. And that's one of the things I like about your music. It's like a precautionary tale to what you lived. And a lot of people hear what's going on, but they're not listening. But, I really appreciate that. Let's talk about you in the studio sessions with Black Moon, and which is one of your entire crew is just insane. So,
man, give thanks. I appreciate you, even the knowledge and the fact, as you said, it bleeds through out there, because I consider myself to be a homebody. Like I have many friends, but I'm a loner, man, and I know a lot of people, but I'm not around it like that as much as I used to be. And even back then, I was still more introvert to myself. It just, what had to be done had to be done. So the studio sessions used to be crazy, man. It was times when we get into the studio at damn near 11 in the morning, and we ain't leave that bitch till 11 the next morning. So we were doing 24 hours sessions, like 4, 5, 6 times a night. So, and that was one studio. Once we was blessed to record inside of D&D, and we started putting the whole crew together, the whole boot camp together, that's when shit started really going crazy, getting bananas. And I kind of just talking to it just takes me back, like, to maybe the first time I heard our song Bucktown on the radio, and that's like one of the points as a young MC coming into the game. That's when you think, oh shit, I made it. Like I'm hearing my own voice on the radio now. Beepers is going on there, like, you turn on, yo, you hear it? So that it was a point in time where that was, even right now as an artist, you making records, that's still a goal to get on radio. But the way the technology switched so much, you can become, like, looking at the younger generations, you can become hit wonders overnight just from internet, just from the technology that's out here. Like, they cut a lot of shit down, but the technology is so advanced. Like, it's coming back to vinyls or CDs or it's walking around, get world is shut down now. You got to carry a flash drop. So when you do get by a DJ, you like, yo, here, play this.